My name is Mark Anthony Dubois Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I'm going to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I kind of want to talk about something in a sense of being objective and talk about something in just that I've been paying attention to. When I can see what it looks like and say the most of the majorities are like this, I start to question some things. And the thing that I want to talk about is the concept of dogs that are born and raised and grown up in places like mine. Have a little more land, a little more space. Usually pretty nice dogs. And then dogs that are like pretty much born and raised in like city, I'm talking city, like downtown city, just pavement everywhere. Those dogs, for the most part, from what I see, I go down to Austin right now and it's an amazing experience because there's just so many people, dogs running, because there's like parks that you kind of have to go to in reality to even do anything with your dog. You can't just walk right outside because most cases it's just all concrete and a little potty area that, and you let your dog just keep going there every day, you're kind of gonna get frowned upon a little bit. So you gotta kind of do something. But the dogs in the middle, dogs in the suburbs and these new fake cities. I say fake city in the sense of these huge apartment complexes and condo apartment complexes and townhouse complexes and all these things. And a lot of these even single family homes are starting to be these fake cities. I noticed that the dogs in that scenario are like struggling the most. You're walking in those neighborhoods and the dogs are just barking a fool, just going absolutely insane. So for instance, if the dog is barking like a fool on my property, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares because no one in reality could even hear it. So it doesn't matter. So it's not a nuisance. But at the same time, the dog doesn't need to bark like that because there's rarely anybody walking around. And then at the same time, the dog's in the downtown in the city. Those dogs aren't barking like crazy all day from what I've just experienced. I could walk down a lot of these neighborhoods and a lot of these little condo apartments and all this stuff. It's fairly quiet. You don't notice how many dogs are actually there until the dogs start to come out. So it's something that I've just have been paying attention to is like, where's the disconnect happening here? That a city dog and a farm dog are doing all right, but the dogs in between in the suburbs, what's happening? For me, I think I kind of want to talk about something that might get into some people's feelings, but it's kind of just, unfortunately, it's going to be that way at every video I ever make. But I'm going to get into feelings of the concept of most people in the suburbs, not all, but most people are in the suburbs in a way of starting a family type situation. Most, not all. Most people are living in suburb areas. They've got kids. They've got all this extraness going on. They got football, baseball, basketball, volleyball, tennis, swimming practice, track practice, wrestling practice. They got all this stuff going on. All these things, and there's more happening in the suburbs in a sense of the family unit. So this is the thing that I really start to question when it comes down to the dogs in these family units. I'm going to ask the question, why did you get the dog? Because most people, the response they say to me is, I want a dog to add it to the family. It's like an added family member. My dog is a family member. But yet, how come most people aren't treating the dog as a family member? And this is the biggest thing that I've noticed with when I'm working with folks and they get the say best results with the dog. Because I ask, what do you want to do with this dog? And they're like, well, I want to go places. I want to be able to do stuff with my dog. But yet the number one thing that most people don't do is do stuff with the dog. And thinking that, because this is going to be weird to me. You know, I didn't live in my entire life on farm. This is some random new stuff for me. So my entire life is in the suburbs and I've experienced like being in cities and stuff, but I've never lived in downtown city. But my entire experience is suburbs. And there's something that I've just always kind of noticed about these suburbs is what is I'm going to use this words. I'm going to go a little deep, but what is the flex, the ego check to take your dog for a walk around the neighborhood? Like, what is that? Why are people doing this? Like, what is the point of that? Because this is the thing that I've noticed that say like with a more farm dog, you got to take the dog out. Most people, I don't know about everyone, but I just know my scenario and people I know. I don't want my dog pottying near the house. I want them to do it far away. So we got to go do stuff to get the dog out to go make something happen. At the same time, most farmers are doing what? They got to do stuff. So the dogs are out there with them. And the same thing with apartment complexes in the city. Most places to be able to do with your dog, you got to go somewhere. You got to go to the park. You got to go to the playground. You got to go to the trail. You got to go somewhere. So more people are doing that. Whereas in the suburbs, you got your backyard and you just put the dog in the backyard. In most cases, it's weird because most suburbs are like the best places for dogs to be because they're integrated around parks and areas and just stuff that's out. So why are we so worried about walking the dog around the neighborhood instead of just taking the dog to the park and go for a walk out there? A park that looks exactly like pretty much every video that you ever see any of my dogs in at the park, where there's people around, there's dogs around, there's everything around. It's just stuff. And that stuff is, in my mind, what is really going to satisfy most of the needs of the dog, of being able to be in the environment that it comes from. It comes from the land, and it comes from just being outside most all of the day, all the time. But the dogs aren't able to get that. So in most cases, I'm noticing someone says, because I hear this every day, having a talk with someone last night just really kind of opened my eyes up a little bit more. That people always say this: I want to be able to go and do stuff with the dog. The dog is part of the family. But I'm out here all the time, and someone's always like, oh, I should have brought my dog. Well, why didn't you? Oh, I should be out here doing this with my dog. Well, why isn't your dog here? What's going on that there's this disconnect where you're like not wanting to really integrate the dog into your family? You want to just keep it as being, don't take it the wrong way by me saying this, but the evil little stepchild that you're like, get out of my life. I don't really want you. I only just want your mom, or I only want your dad. I don't want anything to do with you. We're literally treating the dogs in that sense. Because if the dog was part of the family, when you're taking the kids to soccer practice, the dog would be coming to soccer practice. You're going to basketball, the dog would be coming to basketball. And if it's a place that you can't bring the dog inside, then you would just stay outside and hang out a moment, go back inside, and the dog would just be there. You know, you get me on the indoor stuff. You can't really bring all dogs inside. But most cases, if it's a nice dog, the people don't care if the dog is there or not. But the only way in reality for the dog to be able to be a nice dog, if the dog is actually part of the family. If you just never interact with it and you just give it you would put it away and bring it out only when you want it and only when you think that you care about it, then the dog is going to have that sense of being like, well, I must be the reject of the family. They don't really want me, so I'm just going to. The number one thing a dog got to do is the same stuff that children do, is they start to act a fool to try to get attention. So they start to just act crazy, start to get pushy, start to get wild because they want attention, because they're not getting the attention that they're requiring. And it's something that I'm just really thinking about, because especially like a lot of these I don't know how new they are, but these new like condo things that we've got, and they're new in the sense that how they're so-called being more pet friendly. And like every entrance and exit of all of these buildings, so these buildings will have like 12 to 20 units in it or something, but the entrance and the exit all had this little potty area now. They say, oh, we're dog friendly, and they put these potty things, or you can get the bags for free, or you're paying for them, and the little waste bins there, right there. So what most people start to do is, you take the dog out from inside the condo unit, you go right outside to that potty thing, and you go right back inside again and call it done. Say, we're finished. That's not a dog being part of the family in any sort of way. The dog is literally there in a way of like it straight up. The only way I can put it is in the prisoner sense. It gets out for most dogs don't even get out for the hour recreational time that a prisoner gets. So they're really on what you will call that secure max lockdown, whatever. They don't get no free time, no rec time, no nothing time. That's how, unfortunately, most dogs are living right now, in a sense of convenience. Thinking, oh, I could just take it here. Oh, I have a backyard now. I live in the suburbs, so the dog's going to be fine. And if you're looking at it in the sense of, I want to have this dog be part of the family, if you were treating your husband, your wife, your kids the way that you treat your dog, do you think that they would want to be there? Especially just put in the sense of your spouse. If you treat your spouse the same way that you treat that dog, you think that animal would want to be, that person would want to be there? Or do you think that person's going to do everything they can to get the heck away from you? Because they're not going to feel valued, respected, seen, heard. They're not going to be anything. They're just going to be a body that's there that's just like, well, make me laugh when I want you to make me laugh, and when I'm done with you, I'll just put you in the back room in the crate again. Like I don't want anything with you. There's such toxic behaviors that's really going on that is very fascinating. And for most cases, this is just weird. Well, most cases, outside of the places, the apartment complex things I see that have like potty things every 2 feet from outside of the door, most people that live in apartments, the dogs are, in most cases, actually much nicer dogs, because you actually have to get up and go do something with them. So if you live on the third, around here, most of our stuff is only three floors high, which don't make no sense. I don't get it, but they don't really build much higher than that. But if you're on the third floor and you have to, your dog's like, I gotta go to the bathroom, you gotta put in effort of actually going down the stairs and down the hall and going and doing something. Whereas when you're living in your suburbs, you got your backyard and you're like, oh shucks, I got this backyard for this dog. This is all that the dog needs. And then the dog starts to go crazy. And then the dogs are all going crazy in that neighborhood. Then the dogs are all just, in reality, doing what they're supposed to be doing, is barking all the potential threats away. So you're walking your dog down the sidewalk, because a lot of these neighborhoods are like so tight. Even though it's suburbs, they're so tight today that you're on the sidewalk and the person's privacy fence is literally like on that easement, like what, 2 or 3 feet away. So you got a dog on the other side of that fence. You're walking and the dog is just barking and raging at your dog. And you're wondering, why is my dog scared? Because you got every dog in the neighborhood that's trying to eat your dog's face off from getting close to its territory. And that's something that's going to keep going day after day after day after day after day into your dog, to the point that now it's just like, oh, heck, I don't, Ophi, we're not going down. I know we went down that way before. These dogs, I don't know what it is. That's how I pay attention. So I'm way off topic right now. I pay attention to where this guy goes pee a lot, because he only pees when we go out. He doesn't do it when we come back that much. Like literally, he'll do 10 times more than he does on the way back. It's almost like he's like guiding a line of where we're going, so that he knows how to be able to get back. I've been studying this stuff with this dog so much, it's kind of weird, because he never gets lost of how to get back. I can even go somewhere completely different and take a complete different route, and he always finds us, because I can just tell him, hey man, let's go home, let's get to the van. And he always gets back to the van, and he always tries to go on the exact same steps that he followed on the way that we got out here. And it's something very incredible about it. But if I ever take a deviation, he's like, oh, this is the way you want to go? Okay, no, let's just go back this way. And I've been out here, what, 2 weeks or more ago? And they're like, oh, let's go check this out over here, because that's where we were last time. Because I made a video back over there. It's fascinating, the I guess I could say the memory of stuff that they leave behind that they're able to pick up on and just kind of go back to again. But sorry, got way off topic, because this stuff with these dogs it's really fascinating to really just see them. But again, the dogs are in the neighborhood, in your suburb, and they're peeing on every fence and they're peeing on everything, and they're just getting raged, yelled at all day while you're taking for a walk around the block. It just, to me, that doesn't quite make sense. Why not just take the dog to the park? And I know someone's going, oh, I don't have nothing like you got out there, Mark. You got a park somewhere. Why don't you take your dog there and take it for a walk? Instead of worrying about this whole, I gotta walk the dog in this little neighborhood right now, especially if your dog is flipping out right now, especially. If your dog is perfectly fine, you know, more than likely, you're good to go. It is what it is. But if your dog is acting like extremely wild, where you're trying to like take the dog around a walk around your neighborhood, just why wouldn't you just try something and start walking them at a park instead, and say, hey, I want to be able to fully integrate you into the family, and I want to do stuff with you. So when I take the kids to the park, we're going to load up the van, and hey buddy, you're coming with. And when they're taking the kids to the practice, you're going to load the dog up, and we're going to go. Everything that you're doing, you're going to load the dog up, you're going to go, to be able to integrate that dog to be part of the family as left to right, as most people are actually looking for. But most people aren't actually doing that. You're just leaving it behind and thinking and hoping and wishing and praying that one day it's just going to magically get better and everything is going to be good to go. But the main thing behind that is, most people I know that are having the best success with their dogs is they're up and they're doing things. They're up doing stuff. I see this all the time, especially out here. I see like the same people over and over and over again. I saw that person yesterday, that girl, I'll call her lady, that girl yesterday walking her dog, that big shepherd, and they all look so good, because they're all out here and doing stuff. They're not just in their apartment all day long, never getting a chance to get out. They're not just, hold on, I gotta do some climbing real quick. Let me get up here. They're not just, sorry, you're gonna give me a second, because I gotta sit down. I gotta find a place to mount this real quick. Hold on. I guess I should do a edit there, but it'll be all right. Hold on. Let me get this thing connected real quick. Hey guys, you got something on your forehead there, girl. But every time I see people out here, the first couple days, the dogs are looking like a mess. Just barking, lunging, going crazy, doing what they're doing. But then I just start to see them week after week, month after month, and the dogs are just settling down, settling in. And a lot of times that's the thing that I know most people are looking for, but you're unable to do because you're not actually doing it. You want something, but not putting in the action to be able to get what you want. You want the dog to be a part of your world, but you're not doing the work that needed to be able to get the dog in your world. And this is the thing. I know we busy. We got stuff to do. You're like, oh, Mark, I come home from work. I just worked 14 hours today, and I'm struggling to keep up with the bills and this, and then I got this dog. This is the part of life that just kind of sucks. It's like, it just is what it is, unfortunately. There's some stuff that we just have to do. And that's the part of the personal growth, that things are going to start to get better and better and better in your life when you just push through that and say, I know I'm tired. But the thing is, this is why I like getting dogs that are like on the high side of the energy level. That's just like, they're freaking crazy. They're like psychotic almost in a way. Especially this, I mean, both of these dogs here were just like that. When I first got them, they were just like, I mean, they're still like that, but they're just crazy to just see how much work does it really take to be able to get the dogs, what I want to say, their needs met and be satisfied. It doesn't take that much that a lot of people think. It does take a lot at first because the dogs are so obsessive that they've never been able to just get anything out. So they're just going and 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 going. But when you have a routine where you keep doing something every single day, most dogs, you take the dog to the park once a week, it's going to be a nice dog for you. You go out there and go for a nice little walk, because it's the environment, it's the smells, it's the sight, it's the sounds, it's the everything that gets into the dog's senses that starts to satisfy the dog. Because the dog, they have these needs of needing to be in and doing something and making something happen. So when you take the dog out, you grab you a little bit of a longer leash, you go to the park, you let them just walk and sniff and go along and have a little hop. So if you grab yourself a good, I'd say about at least 20-foot leash or so, and you just allow the dog to just be able to move and sniff, you're going to start to notice week by week that dog is going to start to relax and relax and relax. It doesn't need to. So at first I would go every day until the dog just gets more comfortable. But more and more and more that you just keep doing that, once a week, most all of these dogs, that's all that they need. It's a 2, maybe 3 mile walk at max. 3 miles would be even pushing it for some of these dogs. Because like my dog Johnny, if I take him, because he's about every other week, 3 miles. Anything more than that boy looks at me like, buddy, I just want to go back into that air conditioner. And if it's not that, he's got a spot at the house that he likes to lay outside the most because it has this beautiful wind that's just constantly, that's just where he likes to lay. He's like, I'm done. I can't do any more than that. Where there are other these dogs that you got to walk them more. But that's the part of, hopefully, you're an active person to be able to want to walk them more, be able to get up and do a good half hour to an hour type walk activity with the dog, then take it somewhere. Not taking it for a walk around the block. Going around the block is like being in prison. It's like everyone's just trying to fight each other against the fences. You're just putting all this pressure so the dog isn't able to just relax and be able to get out what it needs to get out. It's living in this fight or flight mode the entire time. It's not able to just settle and just be comfortable and just be relaxed and be able to just like, hey, I just want to go to the bathroom. I just want to be able to sniff something. Most dogs in neighborhoods, they're on a rampage, just pulling. Why? The main question I ask is, why is the dog pulling? Most of these dogs are on a rampage. They're pulling in a sense of just trying to get the heck out of here. They're like, I don't even want to be here right now, because it's such a hostile situation that a lot of these dogs are in. They never leave the house. When they never leave the house, they're only in the backyard. They got to do something to get this energy out. And that something is going to be what dogs, in my mind, really like doing, is fighting and fence fighting. They love barking and fighting stuff away. So every single house that you're walking by, that's the energy that your dog is sensing. It just doesn't, for me personally, I don't understand the concept of I need to walk my dog around the block in the neighborhood. It's almost like, in my mind, straight up, a waste of time. A waste of time for the dog and a waste of time for your own self, because it's not going to be a comfortable, happy, joyful experience. As opposed to going to the park. Load the dog up and go to the park. And if the park means you got to walk through your neighborhood a little bit to get there, then walk through there and get to the park and then just relax and just enjoy where you're at and just enjoy the dog. And week after week of doing that, you're going to notice, hey, I can actually now take my dog more places. I could take him out to here. I could take him out to there. I could take him to, when I go get his dog food, I could get him his dog food and let him come with me. When we go to the other department stores to get stuff, we could bring the dog with us. You start to bring the dog more to actually integrate the dog to being in what you would want to say is your family member, as most people say. But most of us, we're treating our family members like they're just I don't know why I thought about that, but that's something I used to hear. I don't know if they still use this term or not, but the redheaded stepchild, like the kid that's just like, I don't want that to be a part of the family. It's there, but let's just ignore it and act like it's not there, but it is there. We got to stop treating dogs in that sense. if you actually really care about them. That's one thing. If anyone listens to anything I have to say, you care about the dog. And caring about the dog means that we need to do stuff with the dog. We can't just think that I'm going to get this magical technique and all of a sudden everything is just going to be good with the dog. No, we got to do stuff. And the number one thing that I would just suggest to everyone, if your dog is acting like a hot mess right now in your suburb, and most people that listen to me and most people that I work with and go to do anything with, we all are living in suburbs. And I just live right on the outside of where all the suburbs are. I'm just right there. Soon enough, my neighbor, he's probably not going to sell, but my other neighbor who's already sold, they're probably going to build a condo, because that's what's projected to be next to me in the next several years, is a condo, a townhouse, apartment type thing that they're going to put on that land. They're going to put, I think, like 150 units or something. So that's going to be right next door to me. And that's where I live as well. But I live in this weird little pocket. But most everywhere I go, everyone's in these suburbs and everyone's trying to walk your dog around the neighborhood. And all I see is stressed out, anxious, paranoid, nervous, worried, fearful dogs that are just going absolutely insane, not able to just settle down. And the only time that they're able to settle down is when they get in the house, because they know that or not all dogs, but most all dogs feel safe inside of their house. So that's the only time that they're able to relax in an artificial, weird, sterile environment that's not natural to the dog. The dog should be able to feel comfortable and natural outside. It should be able to go in the backyard and lay down and just hang out. But most of y'all dogs can't do that. When it's in the backyard, it's pacing the fence, waiting for every single person that's walking by, trying to bark everybody away, trying to bark all the cars away, bikes away, and people walking away, and just barking everything away. That's all they can do when they go outside. They're not able to just lay and just relax and just settle. We want the dogs to be able to settle down in where they are and settle down in everywhere that they're able to go, to be able to get that tension inside of them to just start to fade away. The biggest thing I would just recommend to everyone, I still don't get it, because I've lived in suburbs and I've had dogs in suburbs, is I would always go to the lake. So I had to walk through the neighborhood to get to the lake, but I would walk through the neighborhood and get to the lake. And then get to the lake and it's like, okay, we got more space to be able to hang out. That was like just my always go-to, is to get the dog out somewhere else. Get it away from this, because I don't know, for me and how other people probably look at it the same way as me. A lot of these our houses are tension on the outside. It's no longer like happy neighbors and saying hi and friendly stuff. It's all this weird tit for tat type stuff going on. And I'm like, I don't want to be nowhere near this right now. I want to go somewhere that I feel appreciated, which is just in the wilderness in reality. I feel appreciated out here. Everything just really appreciates me. Outside, if I got a mountain lion or a bear or something, but that means that I'm invading his space, so I gotta just get the heck out of there. But I feel very appreciated just being here. And then the dogs get into that same sense. You good, girl? So it's maybe been 3 weeks since I've been here, 4 weeks. Because last time I was here, she was freezing, and now we're here. Now she's looking at me like, buddy, I'm hot. It's so fast how our weather changes out here. But the dogs just get to be able to relax when they're just in what I want to say is the thing that pretty much everywhere has, is a nice little park setting. I don't care how big or how small it is. Just allow the dog to be out there, to be able to walk around, to be able to have a good time. Because it's the thing, if your dog is nervous and weary of other dogs, you can get space out there. Whereas in your neighborhood, you're just like locked in. There's already all this tension. You're locked in with this tension, and the dog, it sees another dog on the other side of the street, and it just has to explode because it doesn't know what else to do. It doesn't have another option. We've never gave it another option. We said, we're just gonna fight through it. We're just gonna get through this. That is just so, in my mind personally, just not right to do to the dogs. It may not be the right words to use, but it's not fair. It's not fair to the dog to just keep pushing them through that and telling them, you better just get through this or else. It's just not fair to the dog. But what is fair to the dog, to be able to get it somewhere that it has a little bit more space. It can see a little bit further away. Because how my shepherd is just huge with this. He sees stuff from a distance. I mean, I don't care where I am. If there's someone at this, there's a house way back over there. He sees someone walking, he's gonna look at him. He's going to assess the situation, what's going on, so that he could see it, get that feeling going in his body, and realize, I don't need to do anything. And it gets easier and easier and easier and easier and easier the more and more and more and more that they just keep doing that. As opposed to they see something and you just instantly like, don't look at that, don't look at that, don't go over there, don't do that, get away from that, don't stare at that. That's causing the dog to just keep going further into the stress, further into the anxiety. It's causing them to do the opposite of what most people are looking for. And most everything we need to do is, if you're not getting the said results you're looking for, you need to do the opposite. You can't just double down further into a new technique that's the same way. That's just a different style of being able to do that. You need to do the opposite. And the opposite would be, for me, is if all you do is walk your dog and take it into the neighborhood, and that's all you do the opposite of that. Take it somewhere, take it to the park. Don't worry about it. At first, I will say, if your dog is like extra excitable and all this stuff, I would do it daily, until the dog could just start to settle down more and settle down more. Don't worry about even running and chasing and doing all that. Just get the dog in an environment that they can finally feel appreciated in. That they can finally just like say, man, I just like this. It's nice and calm and peaceful out here. Then the dog is going to start to just relax and relax and relax. And then we can start really getting the dog to chase and do this and do that and starting to do these other little things. And of course, we can start upgrading from there. But in reality, we need to get a baseline to get the dog to be able to realize, hey, I see that you're stressed here. Let me get you somewhere where you're not going to be. Somewhere that we can actually finally be able to start to learn how to communicate with each other. So, and then you're going to be able to build that bond that the dog is going to look at you and say, hey, I appreciate you. But a lot of times it's simple things, but it requires us to have to get up and have to do something. Because these dogs are incredible. But the only way, in my opinion, that you're really going to get this success that when you see someone with their dog doing what they're doing, that you're like, I really like that. I'm almost going to guarantee, not 100%, but I'm almost going to guarantee they do a lot with that dog. A lot. I mean, they put hours and hours and hours and hours a day working with that dog to be able to get it to be how it is. It's not just, I took it for a walk around the block and I put it in a crate and that's all I did with the dog. I took dog from the apartment, I took it down to the potty area, I let it potty, and I brought it back into the apartment. And they don't do that with the dogs. When you're looking at people's dogs that you're like, I like that dog. I like the way that look. I like what they got going on. They're doing stuff with it. They take the dog places. They're riding around with the dog. There's so many places that, like even a lot of the parks I go to, because some of them are paid parks that I get free for most of them all because of my military service. But they all there's a person that they got snacks and treats to be able to give to your dog. There's all this stuff that like integrates in where they can even go to the Home Depot and the guy in the front's gonna give you want to say, hey man, your dog want a snack? I just call them snacks. I don't really call them treats at that point because you're just giving the dog just because. But it's like so much is already wanting us to be able to allow our dogs to be able to be a part of the family. But most of us aren't actually doing or living that. We're treating it as just like the thing in the back corner that I don't want to deal with. And then we're wondering why we're having problems. Thank you. Hey, Kai. Hey, Elfie. You can come up. Kai. Come. You good, boy. Don't worry about her. That's one thing that we all want different stuff that we want with our dogs, and I don't want you to do what I do. I want you to do what you already wanted to do with your dog. And I know most people, you just want to be able to do stuff with the dog. And you just feel like it's an impossible thing right now. And you're setting yourself up for, in reality, failure because you're trying to work through something that really doesn't need to be worked through to be able to do what you actually want to be able to do with the dog. If you want to be able to take the dog to soccer practice, take the dog to soccer practice. You're going to see a dog act much, much, much better in that scenario than taking it for a walk around your block. You're seeing your dog acting like a fool or going around your block and you're like, my dog will never be able to do that. And it's kind of like limiting you and forcing you to not even try to do it because you're seeing something here and you're thinking that's what it's always going to be like. Everywhere it's going to be like that. But that's just not the case with most all dogs that I see. Hey guys, what are we doing? That's just not the case. So like me, even I don't even care. I don't care. Like this one, Oreo. Johnny can't jump because he's just too big. He got his feet all up here, but I don't care. I let my dogs jump on me. I let my dogs sit in my lap. I let my dogs come up to me and just rest their body on me. I don't care. But someone else, you're like, I never want my dogs to jump. That's unacceptable behavior. For me, I enjoy it. I don't care. But the thing is, I do it with them, and for whatever reason, they don't do it to anybody else. They stay down and they just get a couple of pets, and it is what it is. But it's something that I've just noticed that the dogs like to do. But with me, I'm fine with that. I don't care. They don't jump on my kid. They don't jump on anybody that comes and visits. They do it. I'm looking for them to be able to do. And it's stuff that each of us really should start to figure out what we actually have these dogs for. What is it here for? If you got the dog and now you're just frustrated and now you're keeping it in the back corner because you don't know what to do, let's get back to that. What do you want to do? You want to take it to the park? Then get up and go to the park. Scratch Karen worrying about, I got to take the dog, especially in the suburbs. Your dog go potty in the backyard. You don't need to walk the dog to go potty. The dog go potty in the backyard. And in reality, a lot of y'all suburbs, a lot of y'all neighbors really don't like it that you got your dog going potty in their yard. They're out there looking through the blinds like, I can't believe that Susan got her dog out there peeing in my yard again. Things are hostile and tense. So that woman is already feeling that way, looking through the blinds at you. And then she's got a dog, and now that dog's got that same animosity behind it, and it's about to try to bark you away to get you out of there. It's like this repeating cycle that most of these neighborhoods are so toxic. They're so toxic. And we're trying to force our dogs to be cool with that toxic environment, as opposed to just saying, let's go over here instead. Let's go over here. And then once we're good over there, for sure, the dog is going to be able to walk better in the neighborhood, because this is the way I see it, especially like with Kahi here. He gets this, like, when he sees dogs barking at him like through the fence, like I got a little bit videos here and there of him like looking at that, but he just looks at him kind of like, buddy, you haven't gotten through that yet? Like, let's move on. Like, it's good, man. Like, you don't see how good and beautiful this world is? That's how he's looking at them. And those dogs always like look back. In most cases, they always pretty much stop. They stop that rage and they kind of just slow it down, because he's looking at them like, dude, just chill. It's all good. But at first, if all I'm doing is getting him used to walking in that neighborhood, I'm gonna be fighting with them, day after day after day after day after day, putting them in something that is just a fight. There's no way the only thing I'm going to give him option of is to fight or to flee, never to really get indifferent to. I want to take him somewhere else to start to get him to understand how to be indifferent. And then I could bring him back there, and then he could look at the world and say, oh, okay, none of this really matters. It's all just, it's all meaningless. That's a way to be able to fast track to get your dog where you want it to be, is do what you want it to actually do with the dog. I know a lot of y'all, you got kids and stuff, and it's like, I don't know what to do with dogs. You go to the park, take your dog to the park. It's going to be a little bit for you to like have to pay attention to the dog at first. But week after week, you're going to notice that things just start to get to the point that you're just hanging out. You put a leash on the dog and you just sit there and you just hang out. My number one thing I do with all my dogs is how do I can keep them to get close, is I put a leash on the dog and I sit here and I hang out. And I do this day after day, after week after week, after month after month. And then the dog knows, okay, I'm just going to stay in this little bubble. So then I could just say, hey, come here. If both of y'all sitting here rolling, doing all this mess. Dogs are feeling good right now. I feel y'all. But they just keep doing that, and then the dog just stays, and the dog just settles. The dog's seen everything out there looking crazy, and the dog it's normal at that moment. It's normal to see people running and kids playing and balls going and everything happening. It becomes normal. And then it makes it easier to take the dog more and more and more and more and more places. And that's how you're going to be able to have that dog that a lot of y'all are looking at other people's stuff saying, I want mine to look like that. I'm telling you, they're putting in work. They're putting in work, especially a lot of these sport dog people doing stuff with their dogs and their obedience routines. They're putting in work, like work on work. Not like 2 minutes around the block and we're back in the house. No, they're putting in hours of work with these dogs a week. Hours and hours and hours of dedicated, focused, one-on-one, we're working. And if you're not willing to do that, then don't even worry about how their stuff looks. Worry about where you want to be able to get your stuff to be able to look with the time that you want to be able to put into it. And that time, in my mind, in my opinion, just up front for most people, is to get the dog out and go do something with it. Get it out. And you're going to start to see something amazing.